Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Happy Saturday. Hope you're all having a blessed day. I started my day positively by going to the gym, getting myself a new personal trainer and getting rinsed out. So I'm good. I'm feeling full of life and vitality. Speaking of vitality, we're off to the Vitality Stadium where Bournemouth entertain my club Tottenham. Before I go into it, make sure you like, share, subscribe. You know, always appreciate the support, and hopefully that support gets me somewhere going forward. But before we go into it, I'm going to go into Tottenham's lineup, which is unchanged from what I see. So we've got a Doji at left back, Pedro Porro right back, Van de Ven and Romero with Vicario in goal, Bissouma and Papa Sarr. I'm glad to see Maddison on the team sheet. I just hope that he's okay rather than being forced in, because there was rumours of him straining a ligament. And then we've got Son, Kulusevski and Richarlison. Don't really blame Ange for changing the lineup. There's been a lot of outcry for Richarlison to be dropped or Son to be up front, you know, Solomon to be given a chance. But, you know, some things in football are simple. You don't change a lineup that's you know, playing well and winning unless it's broken. So yeah, you know, I'm content with the lineup. You know, it's not like I can go into the transfer window today, and even if I wanted to go into it today, it's not up to me. But so we've got to go with what we're given. I'm going to go to Bournemouth's lineup quickly, just getting it up on my other phone. So we've got Neto in goal, Max Evans right back, Zabarnyi, Kelly and Kirkes left back, never heard of that guy. They've got Christie and Rothwell midfield, Semenyo, Billing and Kluivert behind Solanke. You know, Bournemouth, I watched sort of 15-20 minutes of them when they were playing Liverpool. Sat in my living room bored, so I had nothing to do. And to be fair to Bournemouth, they came out with some good intensity, and realistically could have been 2-0 up against Liverpool. But, you know, it's Anfield at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what you do. If you don't take your chances, even if Liverpool are off form, the crowd will suck the goal in. So, you know, it's one of those ones where Bournemouth, if they can take the positives from that game with their home support, I think this would be a more difficult game for us than United, because United are a little bit in a bit of disarray. You know, fans moaning about the midfield's not working and all that stuff. They haven't had a great pre-season. They've been overworked. So in hindsight, even though Man United were all over us, once they were bereft of ideas, you know, it come across like Man United would lose the game for themselves, even if Tottenham didn't want to impose it. So this is a bit of a tougher game. You know, Bournemouth already know that every point is crucial, because they'll pile up at the end and they'll want to survive and maintain some momentum in the Premier League. You know, Dominic Solanke started the season quite well. He's somebody that's been labelled as a championship striker. Doesn't score that many goals, but he started this season with 1 or 2. So I think what we have to be mindful of, we probably have to, I feel that we're going to go into a game like this, it's similar to United, where Bournemouth are going to come out of the traps. They probably want to press us and see if they can generate some mistakes from us. But I feel that if we soak up the pressure and, you know, fingers crossed we score first, with the possession-based game that we play, we should be able to nullify Bournemouth to an extent. But, you know, like I always say on my videos, and I always say to friends, colleagues or whatever, no club in this, especially in the Premier League, has got a divine right to say that they're going to go and win against Bournemouth, because Bournemouth haven't been in the Premier League a long time. You know, there are sides that are going to give us trouble. You know, we're not going to have it all our own way, but it's just one of those where you've got to impose yourself as a team, regardless of who you are. But obviously, with my club, you just got to not only say and have confidence that we're a better team than Bournemouth, but show it. You know, Bissouma was absolutely brilliant last couple of games. I feel that he can stop that midfield, control it, along with Papa Sarr. And I just feel that if the defence are, you know, locked in and concentrated, we should be able to get a result. You know, I was on a show yesterday, and of course, as a Spurs fan, I want us to win every game. But these are the sort of games which have messed us up in the past, because we get momentum by a good result away to Brentford, and then we get another good result by beating United at home. So that, you know, now we've got, I'd say, favourable fixtures against Bournemouth and Burnley. These are the sort of games that Tottenham would look at it and say they can go into the international break with 10 points out of 12, when we're probably all expecting sort of 4, 5 or 6. And then we can go into the, come out of that with a game before we play Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. So it's going to be tough. Every game's tough. You know, I can't look at the Premier League and say there's one game that every team will be hoping for. Maybe a Luton at home because they're the new boys, but even then, you know, the Premier League always throws out a surprise. But yeah, I'm going to get myself indoors, go and get changed quickly, get back out and go and watch the game. If I'm going to do a prediction on this game like I did on my previous video, maybe a cagey 2-1. You know, there's no straightforward games being a Spurs fan. I think the only time it ever was straightforward was when we had our last few years at the Lane with Poch. You know, you used to get to the point where I could go to the toilet and come back and know that we were going to be winning, you know, or at least deserve to be winning. So I get the feeling that Bournemouth might score first. I get the feeling that, you know, first 5 minutes we're going to be, here we go again. But we might show a little bit of resilience. I feel Maddison might score his first goal today. And if Richarlison, Son and Kulusevski do, then we're in a good position for the season, because we're getting results without our forward players scoring. So we'll see how it goes. I could be right, but being a Spurs fan, I know I could be completely wrong. So yeah, see you guys at half time. Jacob at the one at the top. Yes, people, it's half time. Tottenham 1, Bournemouth 0. If I'm going to go through that game, you know, again, I'm impressed with the way that we keep possession. Happy that we've took the lead and maintained it for that second half. You know, Bournemouth threatened in spells, but, you know, in hindsight, we pretty much had it under control. Same time, I was a little bit, I'd say, worried, because I felt that even though we had all the possession, we're playing a nice football, we need to be a bit more ruthless. You know, Richarlison should have had that chance buried first time. There was a couple of opportunities where Son or Maddison should have hit it first time, but they're trying to set their mates up. And I feel that, you know, if you're in games like that, you give Bournemouth confidence. You know, Philip Billing at the end could have easily made it 1-1, and would Bournemouth have deserved to be drawing with us? No, but if we're not ruthless, that's what happens in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say moan about it. I'm content. To be fair to Richarlison, even though we moan about him, at least he's been a bit more about, you know what I mean? He's tried to win headers. I feel there's a little bit more of a presence on him, but we all know that, you know, you weren't brought here to win headers and jump around, because if that was the case, you might as well just stick Romero up front, because he's all right winning headers, and so is Mickey, isn't he? So yeah, I'm happy that we're winning. You know, I predicted and told you lot that Maddison scored his first goal today. I've been feeling it all week, you know, even when I did my previous show, that I just felt Maddison was going to score his first goal today. But we've got to be careful, because even though we've dominated this game and we're playing nice football, we've got to be mindful if Philip Billing wraps that ball in the net, all of a sudden it's 1-1, Bournemouth going into half-time feeling, you know, re-energised, and we go into half-time thinking, well, how are we not winning 3 or 4, you know? And it's not because we've had plenty of clear-cut chances, it's just when we've had the opportunity to shoot, we've passed. And I feel I'm getting an aura that there's a little bit of overconfidence. I think Ange needs to bring him in at half-time and kind of say, look, it's only 1-0. You know, I've seen Tottenham play like this first half and absolutely batter people, but we're only 1-0 up, and then we've ended up losing the game 3-1. So yeah, I just think we need to keep playing the same way, and just get another goal. I think if we get an early goal second half, game's wrapped up. If Bournemouth score first, it's game on. And as I say, if Bournemouth score first, it's the cagey 2-1 that I was telling you guys about. But we all know that football's a funny game, whether you support Spurs or any other club. It's a bit of a madness. I just think we need to be more ruthless. You know, we're doing what a lot of pundits used to criticise Arsenal for back in the day. You know, it was always one pass or one touch too many to score the perfect goal. Don't worry about the perfect goal. You know, if you're 20 yards, 30 yards out, smack it. Simple as that, give it a go. You know, the goalkeeper of Bournemouth doesn't look too confident. We look very confident on the ball. But again, you know, Man City are the best footballing side in the Premier League, bar none. And there's times where, even though they're feeling great, they've lost the game. So I just feel, get a second goal. And then it gets to the point, you know, if we get a second goal early, we have got the ability to maybe rotate some players. If there's any players that ain't cutting the mustard, give your Solomons, your you know, your Skips, your Højbjergs or whatever, give them a run at, because, you know, it's going to be a long season. Even though we're not in Europe, if we want to compete on all fronts, doesn't matter what level you're at, whether you're at the Premier League, whether you're professional, amateur, Sunday League, you need a squad. So yeah, we'll see how it goes second half. I pray to God that we don't mess this up, because if we don't and we get the good result, we're top of the league for a couple of hours, isn't it? It's one of those. We'll see how it goes. It's Tottenham, you know. As much as I love what Ange's doing, and I'm loving a lot of what the players are doing, namely Adoji and Basuma. No, as long as you put that shirt on, mate, anything could happen. So yeah, we'll see second half, and I'll see you guys at full time. Yes, you beautiful people. It's full time. Well, it's full time about 20 minutes, half hour ago. But I was watching the post-match analysis. Bournemouth 0, Tottenham 2. You know, if I'm going to be honest, if I want to talk about Bournemouth first, they're probably, you know, I always go on about the fact that we lack ruthlessness. It's probably even more so for them, because they did have a few chances in that game, to be fair, where I kind of thought if they equalised, they might go on to get a positive result for themselves. Do you know what I mean? But what I liked about what we did is match that with our resilience. You know, there's a lot of times where Bournemouth on the ascendancy, especially second half. You know what I mean? They come out and I kind of thought it's going to be one of those days where, you know, half time I was buzzing, second half I'm disappointed. But what I liked is that there's something that Tottenham have missed over the years. It's like, when our back's against the wall, just hang in there, because unless it's Man City or a team like that, it's not going to be relentless. It's going to get to the point where teams will dominate for certain periods of the game. That's just how football goes. You look at Man United last week. They dominated that first 20 minutes, half hour. But if you ride the storm, ride your luck, and then take your chance, you win a lot of games in this league. You win a lot of games wherever you play in football, if I'm honest. But yeah, so Bournemouth will probably again go back to the drawing board and take some positives, just like they did against Liverpool last week. You know, Liverpool probably deserved to win that game if you look at it in the round, but Bournemouth would have looked at that and thought, you know, there's a lot of teams, you know, you've had your Real Madrids and all these guys that have gone to Anfield and been battered. So they've got to have that same energy for this game, where I'm not saying we're a top team, but in the round, the only reason why we won that game is because we've got better players and a better manager. It's as simple as that. But I want to talk to you lot about my team. That's what I've been crying out for the last 4 years, you know. I feel that Daniel Levy is the reason why we lost our identity for the last 4 years, because he kind of said, you know what, I'm going to go against every principle at Tottenham and go the other way to try and win something. Now, we got half the job done. You know, he brought Mourinho in, he brought Conte in. That was the right thing to do if you want to win a trophy. But if you're not going to back him, there's no point. You can't be bringing in Conte and Mourinho in with Ange money. Don't make sense. Ange is all right with the money that we got. And he's another Pochettino-esque manager that just would rather have a bunch of guys that he can build around. You know, forget all the Ange ball and all that stuff. What I was impressed with Ange today was his substitutions and decision making. You know, it feels like the last few games when I've said this person needs to come off and this person needs to come on, literally 2 minutes later it happens. So when I was looking at it and Bournemouth were attacking us and they were throwing the kitchen sink, I looked at Papa Sarr and thought, you know what, you're a young kid. I don't think I can rely on you here. Let's bring Højbjerg in. Højbjerg needs to come on ASAP. Literally, as soon as I said it to myself, I had a look, Højbjerg's getting stripped. You know, Adoji was a little bit injured, but again, he was lacking a bit of energy towards the end. He went down injured. What does he do? Brings Ben Davies on. Now, I'm not sitting there saying Ben Davies is a top player, but he made the right decision and we steadied the ship. You know, Richarlison was having another stinker, which, again, if Daniel Levy's watching properly, he'll understand that we need another striker because he's not going to do it. But then, you know, Ange recognised that even though he wants Richarlison to do well, he's not doing well. So he brings him off, puts him on, Perisic comes on. If I'm honest, I wanted Solomon on, but Perisic did all right when he came on, you know, unlucky to score. But, you know, when I'm looking on social media right now, there's a lot of Tottenham fans going wild. And it's good to be happy, don't get it twisted. If you're a Spurs fan and you know, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not happy. Of course I'm happy. I come out of the pub and I was gassed. You know, I sat there with a load of Wolves fans and I was like, yeah, you know, they're coming up to me and saying Tottenham are playing good football this season. It's only been 3 games in, but it's nice to hear that because for the last 4 years, I've been told that we're crap and I know that we're crap. You know, I'm going to be happy. You know, I'm looking at the scores right now. United are 2-0 down at home to Nottingham Forest. Arsenal loses to Fulham. We're top of the league, you know, and, you know, we've got another 35 games. So for me to say top of the league and start doing cartwheels is just stupid. But I can't complain. It's nice. You know what I mean? It's better than what it was this time last year. However, I always remain in the balance and I'll always say what I feel is going well at Spurs and what's going bad. You know, the football's going great. Maddison scored his first goal as I predicted. But then, you know, there's only so many games you can go into the season and not have a striker that's not only not scoring, but not really contributing to the game. You know, Richarlison's come off on the 60th, 70th minute every game. So, you know, Ange needs to be going upstairs and saying, look, we need another striker. Simple as that. Now, I'm not sitting there saying you've got to go and spend 100 million, 200 million on a striker. Just a striker that, you know, you might get a striker in that's better than Richarlison, but then Richarlison might wake up. He might then say, you know what, I need to up my game. Because right now, he knows he's the main striker. And I think that pressure is killing him because he's got to replace Harry Kane. Now, if you go and bring in another striker and say to Richarlison, between the two of you, forget Harry Kane, between the two of you, you're starting, all of a sudden his energy goes different. You know, we need to move on from Harry Kane. And I don't think Richarlison has moved on from that. I think he's too worried about, oh, they're expecting me to score 30 goals. On top of that, apparently I'm worth 60 mil. Don't worry about that. Let's just move on and get another striker that's worth it and let them two compete, because if you're going to go and win cups, you're going to win trophies, or better yet, you're just going to push to your targets, you need to have competition throughout the squad. But, you know, as I say, I'm content. Oops, headphones gone. I'm a balanced man. So, realistically, we move on to the next game against Burnley away. Hopefully, Man United... result stays the same, and so does Arsenal, but it's a long season. You know, Arsenal, Man United realistically could easily finish above us, but you've got to enjoy the moments, whether it's football or whether it's life. So yeah, I hope you lot have a blessed weekend. I'm going to have a lovely bank holiday weekend and put my feet up and enjoy the results, enjoy the football and enjoy being me. Yeah, so love you all, have a blessed weekend. Jacob on the one up top. Love.